Welcome to the Arsenal Show. We're not live today. This is all pre-recorded, so I want to see you get your comments in. I want to see you get your likes. I want to see you sharing it. We're going for a half-hour show around that today. But what we're going to be giving you, I'm going to be giving you the recap of the game against Nottingham Forest. I'm going to give you my own player ratings and my thoughts on that one as well. We're going to be talking about comments from Reiss Nelson and potentially giving him a new contract. What's your thoughts on it? And the fact that he shows a massive desire to get that contract, and I love that. I love that he wants to stay at the club. I like the fact that we're giving an opportunity for a player that's come through the youth to have that extra chance, more than you would a normal player. And if we can get Reiss Nelson back playing for Arsenal as competition and raise his levels, then I'm a happy man. And we'll also be discussing a few other bits that have come in the press today. All right. So first and foremost, we had a 5-0 victory against Nottingham Forest the other day, and it would be easy for a lot of clubs to play it down off the back of the fact that it's Nottingham Forest. You would have seen a massive backlash from many people at the ready waiting for Arsenal to falter, which they would have claimed that the fact that Arsenal dropped points against Southampton and PSV as the real Arsenal, as what they would count, what they've been waiting to say. I saw comments with Jamie O'Hara, who is flipped his views so many times. It's like he says through gritted teeth that Arsenal are a better team and look like a decent team this season and could do something. And then literally a week later, after a draw against Southampton and a loss in the Europa League away from home to PSV, it's typical Arsenal, past their first 11, they're not got a team. There's no depth. Well, you ask any Arsenal fan, and they would have told you that it's not even 11. It's probably about 14 players. Past that, it does seem to drop off quite a bit. However, tell me a team in the top 6, bar Man City, where if you lose 2 top players, you don't fall off. It's very few teams in Europe where if you was to lose a few players, a few of your first team players, that there wouldn't be a drop off. So Jamie O'Hara's just talking absolute nonsense as per usual. And look, he's there as a shock jock. He's there as the new Cundy. He's there as the new Durham. So that's his job to do it. So mate, crack on. I'm going to give my player ratings from the game from last week. So let's go. Aaron Ramsdale, I thought he didn't have much to do. He did well. I don't even remember Nottingham Forest getting off a shot. And I remember Emmanuel Dennis having a couple of opportunities to have a shot, but he didn't take them. And yeah, there was just nothing for Ramsdale to do. So I'm going to give him a 6 because it was a quiet game for Aaron Ramsdale. William Saliba. How did he play? I thought he had an all right game. What he had to deal with, he dealt with well. There was one, two. No, look, there weren't too many opportunities for Saliba to shine the other day. So because of that, but what he did do, he did well. And we're going to have games where it's very quiet for our defenders, and then when you've got to do something, you're there. So yeah, William Saliba, I'm going to give him a 7. Gabriel. So Gabriel, apart from Gabriel's random one every game passed to no one in the middle of the box, which then ended up going to a Nottingham Forest player. Apart from that, I thought he was very good. And he's been very good this season, pretty much every game I've seen him play, apart from the odd one or two maybe. Gabriel was solid. I think he put in a couple of blocks as well, and he seems to do that every game. And I know that William Saliba gets a lot of praise for his composure and the way he's handled things since he's come into Arsenal. But I think people need to give some credit to Gabriel, because I don't think William Saliba does that on his own. I don't think William Saliba does that with certain defenders. And you've seen when you change that back and you bring in someone else in certain positions, it's just not the same as when Saliba's playing with Gabriel. So they're building a formidable partnership, which is even keeping out the likes of Ben White. And that says a lot, because Ben White has been excellent since he's put on an Arsenal shirt. So I'm going to give Gabriel a 7. It could have possibly even been an 8 for Gabriel at points where he was so assured. But that pass back, he needs to eradicate those kind of things from his game, because it does ruin it. It does ruin it. It's hard to have an argument for a player who's put in 3 blocks in a game, 2 interceptions, 90%, 95% pass rate, 6 clearances, and then he does that, or he does what he does against Leeds. And then you're trying to argue his case, and then all people see is that. And that's been his problem this season. I said it was going to be a season where Gabriel would potentially mature. He needs to mature, which will elevate his game. It's not necessarily anything about his game per se, as in what he does, positioning, heading. It's not about that for him. It's about maturing as a player, making the right decisions. And when he gets that, he's going to be a world-class centre-back. So I'm so happy that we signed him up on a long-term deal. Ben White, I thought Ben White was excellent. Ben White's been excellent all season. And if you notice, the people who had an agenda against Ben White at the start of the season, which I think stemmed solely from William Saliba, which is crazy, because these are all Arsenal players, people, and that's what you've got to remember. They're all Arsenal players. You may have your favourites, you may have your personal people that you think are better in certain positions, but once they've been picked and they've been put in that team, it's got to be nothing but support. All this my player, my manager, my this, my that. This is all about you. This is all about egos. This is our team. All right. So when they put on an Arsenal shirt, it's about supporting them. Ben White has been absolutely brilliant this season. I'm going to give Ben White an 8. I thought he was excellent the other day. And a clean sheet as well, up and down that flank. He's progressed so much as a right back, to the point where you can probably call him a right back as well. It very much reminds me of Thomas Meunier. Maybe not as forward thinking in terms of constant up and down, but he will get there. And I think just over time, if he ends up having a full season at right back, I think by the end of the season, you'd class him as a right back and a centre back. Like, he can play as a centre back and he can play as a right back, but you would say he is a right back as well now, not a player who's filling in that position. And week in, week out, he's getting better. You're seeing extra runs. You're seeing decisions that are being made, right decisions. You're seeing different kinds of crosses coming in from Ben White, and I think he's been excellent this season. Next up, Tomiyasu. I thought Tomiyasu had a very good game. I'm going to give him a 7. He's keeping out Kieran Tierney. We're going to talk about Kieran Tierney a bit after comments that had come out, basically showing the professionalism of Kieran Tierney in this squad now that he's been out. Once again to Tomiyasu. And Tomiyasu, he's playing. He's not really playing out of position. He's not really playing out of position because I think he was playing there for Kievo, wasn't he? And if he wasn't playing there for Kievo, I think he was playing there for the Belgium club that he was at, Genk. I think he was at Genk. I can't remember who he was at. Might have been Brevin. I can't remember. But Tomiyasu plays in every position along the back four, whether it's for his previous clubs, whether it's for Japan or Arsenal. So, yeah, we've got a very versatile defender there. Tomiyasu, he gets up and down the flank. I don't think he got up and down as much as Kieran Tierney does, but he also added that bit of extra where he could cut in and be an extra position or an extra body in that midfield. So, yeah, no, I thought he had a very good game the other day. Granit Xhaka. This is a player who's completely changed over the last two and a half seasons. Let's be honest, Granit Xhaka, if he carried on the way he's been playing and the issues he has with discipline with regards to decision making and getting sent off at silly times, which were costing the team, he was not a player at Arsenal's level. I don't care. He wasn't. He just wasn't. Consistency-wise, he just wasn't there. The way he's playing now is by far better than he's ever played at Arsenal over these last 2 seasons because of Mikel Arteta. By far. Like, this guy was not at Arsenal's level previously. He was too inconsistent with his performances, and it was just the lack of pace that he had and the lack of mobility that he had was showing too much and too often. And if you are a player who doesn't have that much pace and is not great mobility-wise, then you've got to elevate other areas of your game which counteract the cons that you have through not being mobile enough and not being quick enough. And Granit Xhaka has changed his game there. He's more forward. And I know people are saying, like, he's playing in a proper position that he should have always played in. But, like, he's still a central midfielder. Like, let's not get it twisted. Yes, he's playing in more of an advanced position that he plays for Switzerland, but he still should be capable enough of playing in that central midfield. And he has done. He's dropped in deeper this season. He's still looked good. So I think the only issues that we've had when he's dropped in deeper is you're losing someone in that more forward role, and he's not able to get about as much as quickly as needed. If he was going to drop in deeper and then break forward, he needs to have someone in that set position there, and he's going to be there and he's going to be running there. He does get back when he needs to, but in that advanced position, he's doing a very good job. Linking up play well. He's got more time on the ball at certain points. He's in open areas, and he's got to make them quick decisions as well. He's not being crowded out by central midfielders or DM that's on his case. So, yeah, very good performance from Granit Xhaka once again. Thomas Partey. For me, gets an 8. A couple of misplaced passes, but I completely ignored him for the rest of the performance that he had. And I'm not just talking about the second half. I thought he was all right in the first half as well. He's winning the ball well. I think sometimes things are missed from Partey because he makes things look so simple. Like, he's passing past 2 or 3 players and he's just cutting through teams. You have to understand, for a defensive midfielder, one, to be able to make them clinical passes as much as he does, and 2, have a defensive midfielder that is willing to take those risks. Yeah, like, it's so easy to dismiss. But he's passing in the game against Nottingham Forest was clinical to 2 of our goals. I'm not talking about the assist. I'm talking about the pass before that pass. They were clinical. They cut through 3 players, yeah, and it put it right on the edge of the area for someone to lay it off to the striker for the striker to shoot. Like, those balls that he does there were imperative, and he was boshing the game as well, cutting out play. Yeah, Thomas Partey for me gets an 8. He was. I thought he was very good against Nottingham Forest. Martin Odegaard. Okay, Martin Odegaard had again one of them games where I think people it could easily be dismissed. I think Martin Odegaard was maybe an assist away from an 8. A couple of more tenacious runs, dribbles off of an 8. But I think he's just getting his form back again. What I don't like about what people do with Martin Odegaard is, as soon as he has a game where he's not like pulling the strings from the first minute to the last, people are saying he goes missing. But he adds a consistency in your team that you can rely on. And when he's at it, even on a low level, he makes your team tick. And it's very easy to dismiss that. Very, very easy. I thought he had a good game, and he scored a lovely goal. And I think he needs to get more goals. If he could add 10 goals a season, 5 or 10 assists, and the opposite for goals or assists. Do you know what I mean? So let's say 5 goals, 10 assists. That's an excellent season for Odegaard, and I think he can get that. I think it's easily achievable for Martin Odegaard. The captain Odegaard, 7. Bukayo Saka, slightly worried. I'm gonna be checking in on the injury status of Saka in a bit. I thought while he was on, he played very well. He was clearly injured from the start. We're just going to say a strong challenge from their defender, which has caught his ankle. And I'm hoping it's just bruising and it's nothing serious. But he was involved in the first goal. So for me, yes, he gets a 7, even though he wasn't on the pitch for long. For me, Martinelli gets a 7. Scored a lovely goal, header. But for the rest of the game, I felt, yes, you have the energy of Martinelli, but for the rest of the game, I just felt there was like nothing to sort of finished off. Like, I don't remember Martinelli having too many shots or any shots after that. I don't remember Martinelli having any sort of like defense splitting runs, which he always has in every game. I felt it's one of Martinelli's more quieter games, but at the end of the day, he got himself an assist. He got himself a goal. And you can't give someone a 6, even if they have a quiet game, if they scored a goal. And he didn't play bad. And then it's hard to, you can't give Martinelli a 6 because of his energy. His energy is always how defenders think. And he got his goal early doors as well. So yeah, Martinelli, he gets a 7. Gabriel Jesus gets an 8. But look, it could have been a 7. It was close to being a 7, but he got 2 assists. And yes, it'd be better if those were 2 goals under his name, but there's still 2 goals and he set them up. So yeah, he needs a goal, and you can tell that because it is getting to him. And the more and more it gets to him, the harder it is going to be to score. We've seen some of the best players that have ever played for this club that have struggled to score when they needed a goal. Ian Wright is a prime example of that. When he needed his record scoring goal, he couldn't buy a goal, and then all of a sudden, I think he bagged two against Bolton. So yeah, Jesus, just relax a bit, mate, because you can tell he's getting in front of the goalkeeper and he's tightening up a bit too much, and it's causing him to just he's not doing what he would normally do without thinking. He's overthinking it, and it's definitely getting to him. So yeah, I'm not going to go into the subs except for one, and that is this man, Reiss Nelson. Everyone's probably seen his stats for the game. I thought he was excellent when he came on. I feel like when I first saw Reiss Nelson come back into the squad and he played that little 20-minute cameo, he looked really good, really sharp. And then since after that, his performances have been a bit, I don't know, just not really consistent of what you want, considering you saw that start with Reiss Nelson. But he came in this game and he took it with both hands. He got the 2 goals, and I think he got an assist as well. And yeah, he was just a constant thorn in Nottingham Forest side. And I think he's got to make sure he does that. He's not, I spoke about it before, I don't want to see him with the socks down and the Jack Grealish stuttered runs. I want to see him how we saw Reiss Nelson when he first came on the scene under Arsene Wenger, where he was running at players, step overs, direct, very similar to Jadon Sancho. And I think he's got that in him. We're going to talk about Reiss Nelson in a bit. In fact, I may even make a segue from here into that. So yeah, that's my player ratings for the game against Nottingham Forest. I thought he played really well. As I said previously, it would have been easy to dismiss this game because it's Nottingham Forest, but it was only last week that they beat Liverpool. So I know Liverpool ain't in good form, but it's Liverpool still, and yeah, it silenced a lot of people that were ready to pounce on us if we would have dropped points, or even if we would have won the game but struggled. Like, people were ready; they were ready, and they couldn't say anything. We've shut them up again for another weekend, so that's good news for me. Next up, we're going to be talking about Reiss Nelson. There was an article that has come out, and that basically has announced that Reiss Nelson wants to stay. Reiss Nelson has publicly announced his desire to extend his Arsenal contract. I've never doubted myself. Reiss Nelson has said he would love to sign a new contract at Arsenal. The 22-year-old scored twice after coming off the bench at Arsenal with a 5-0 victory against. What is this? Why is that? That was muted. So why is that unmuted? Jeez. Return to the top of the Premier League. It was Nelson's first league appearance since the loss at Brentford on the opening day of last season, following a year out on loan at Feyenoord. He went on to say, "I've never doubted myself at this football club." He said, "Arsenal is a team I've been at since I was 8 years of age, and I have a very strong bond and love for the club. Of course, there's been times where I've been a bit down and I haven't played or been on the bench. My plan has never been to leave this club or say that I have no future here, and I would do everything possible to get there. His current deal expires at the end of the season, but while he wants to stay in Arsenal in North London, Nelson is trying to keep his mind on matters on the pitch. Of course, I only have some months left on my contract, but at the moment of time, getting a new deal, of course, that would be amazing. And I would love to commit to the club," he said. "But I'm just really focused on doing everything possible that I can do the right stuff, and I can get to play for the team and do well. Of course, it's hard coming on for 5 to 10 minutes, and I would love to play much longer. Look, all he can do is take his opportunities when he gets them at the end of the day. And he got his opportunity the other day, and he's taking it with both hands. And now he's in the manager's mind. Now he's in the manager's mind for all them times where they've thought, Reiss has got something. Because otherwise they would have told him, Reiss has got something here. There's something here. There's something there. And all Arsenal fans know that there's something with Reiss. But it's about getting it out and doing it on the pitch. You don't play for Arsenal if you haven't got something. So it's just about showing what you have got. And I hope, and I'm sure many Arsenal fans do hope out there, that Reiss Nelson is an option that we can call upon, and he can add that more consistency. Because I think there's even more to come from Reiss Nelson from what we saw against Nottingham Forest. I do think it was an excellent performance when he come on against Nottingham Forest. But if we go back to what the Reiss Nelson we were excited about when we first saw him come on the scene, we all know that there's more than what we saw against Nottingham Forest. There's more pace, there's more power, there's more tricks in the box. And yeah, no, we know there's more of a player in there than what we've seen. So yeah, I'm glad that Reiss Nelson showed people what he can do, and it's very exciting to feel like we've got another prospect on our hands come as an option. So yeah, I'm very happy. So I'm just trying to get an injury update on Saka. So it looks like what's Saka? Arsenal optimistic about they're saying Arsenal optimistic. Yeah, they're just saying Arsenal are optimistic about Bukayo Saka's injury. So look, obviously they've not got anything back on it yet, but yeah, it's it sounds like it's good news from an Arsenal perspective. So Saka, get well soon. Look, this is why Arsenal fans have been screaming for Arsenal to bring in another winger. It's not just for to give Saka a rest as such, but it's also as an option. It also gives us an option to play someone else. It also gives competition to Saka. Look, Saka doesn't come across as a kind of player who would rest on his laurels or be complacent because he knows that he's going to be playing next week. But you want to have something in the back of these players' minds where it's kind of forcing them to step up their game. It's forcing them to keep on their toes rather than just that player having to naturally be that kind of player that does it himself, because not everyone is that kind of player. So yeah, no, it's a good option to have, and yeah, it's good that we've got Reiss Nelson as an option for a competition or a backup. But yeah, this is the reason why Arsenal fans have been calling for Arsenal to bring in reinforcements, because we don't want to sit here. We would be worrying about Saka, but we don't want to sit here thinking, "Oh, could this derail our season?" Because Saka's out for a long term. It looks from first signs that it's potentially not, and it was just hopefully just some bruising. But yeah, no more injuries from Saka. Wrap him in cotton wool. And honestly, like, I know it sounds bad, but I really don't care about if Saka's available for England. Right now, I just care if Saka's available for Arsenal. Will he be available for the Chelsea game? Doubt it. But yeah, like with regards to the England thing, yeah, it's nice to have Saka available for England, but Arsenal first, mate. Arsenal first, 100%. All right. So the other bit of news that I've spotted is that Kieran Tierney previously he came out on an interview on Sky Sports and said that Mikel Arteta he came to him and let him know that he wouldn't be playing against was it Liverpool, because of Tommy Assen. It was a tactical reason. And there was probably many questions as to, okay, so why did he play against Leeds? Why did so-and-so why did he not play against so-and-so? But yeah, one thing that we've not got to worry about Kieran Tierney's professionalism, and he outlines that here. There's an article in the Express that says that Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta explains Kieran Tierney's call as a Premier League snub continues. And essentially, Mikel Arteta has just said, look, we've got a team. He said, we say, yes. Okay, Forest came on the game off the back of a massive victory over Liverpool, and that will boost the confidence that we're in a similar upset Arsenal. Yes, but this is the challenge. We play so many games, and today we have another challenge. We need to play well and perform at the highest level to try and win the game. It's a completely different team. For it's not due to the amount of signings. That's not at all. I was thinking I got taken off Thursday. Okay, this is the teeny bit. Speaking to Football Daily earlier this month, Tierney explained his devastation at being dropped by Arteta in a clash against Liverpool. I was thinking that I got taken off in the Thursday game to maybe keep me ready for Sunday, and maybe that was at the time was the plan as well. Then the day before the match, he said, "It's not on your performance. This is just a tactical change I want to make." I was like, I'm gutted. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to try hard. I'm not going to not try hard. I was going to say, what the hell? But I'm gutted because I want to play every opportunity I can, especially the big games. You want to play and you want to soak up the atmosphere. And that is the kind of player that Kieran Tierney is. And that's why he's well respected amongst the fans and the players at Arsenal. Mikel Arteta basically said that article it does somewhere, but I can't bother to find it. But Mikel Arteta basically said, look, we've got a big squad and we've got to make sure that everyone gets minutes and that when people play, they keep their shirt if they play well. And Tommy Ashley's played well. So, look, it's the stance that Mikel Arteta has had since he's joined the club, so we can't really complain when it doesn't really go in the favour of the way we might want it or the way we could have picked it. We're always going to have differences of opinion when it comes to the starting lineup. But look, Mikel Arteta's currently lost 2 games this season and drawn 1 in, about 17 games, which is absolutely ridiculous. So who's arguing? I'm sure there are some people on social media arguing, but it ain't me. Because Arsenal are top of the league. Arsenal are doing well. And another thing, which I said previously. So I should clip this bit here. I should make a point of clipping it. Yeah, I said previously. There are the media out there, is setting up some sort of rhetoric, where Arsenal fans are saying we're going to win the league or we're going to challenge for the league. Well, I'm sorry, but we're not. Like we're not going to challenge for the league. We're not saying that, And I'm sure there's a few people out there. There's a couple of people out there, but I'm not going to get into that. Because I do honestly feel like, look, you can have your own opinion on whether you think Arsenal are going to challenge for the league or could challenge for the league, but don't, with your opinion, use that as a battering stick for other Arsenal fans. Because that's the problem. That was another problem that we had in this fan base. For example, you'll ask me where Arsenal will finish in the league, and I'll say I think we'll get top 4, You will turn around and say I'm not dropping my standards for this club. We need to be challenging for the league or coming in top 2. Well, you've used my example or you've used the position that I've said that Arsenal are going to finish in the league as a sort of you're putting it down by saying that you're not going to drop standards to this club because this club should be this standard, and that is again it's an underhanded way of I don't know, bigging yourself up. I don't like it. It just because there's a lot of Arsenal fans saying we're going for top 4. It's not a reason to. It's not settling. That's it. Saying Arsenal are going to get top 4 is not settling. So it's for me. It's not moving away from your initial target, which is the most important thing. And the most important for this club is to get back into the top 4. That is the most important thing. Now, if we end up in a title challenge or whatnot, that's a bonus. But getting top 4 is the target. Now, what people are going to turn around and say now, and they've already started doing it, is if Arsenal don't challenge for the title, is that a failure? So they're doing it again. They did it last year. Arsenal needed to get into Europe, remember? And that was Europa League. It then turned out that there was an opportunity to potentially get into the Champions League. We didn't get Europa League, so then it got twisted around that Arsenal's season was a failure. Now, there were donuts out there. Rory, you're one of them. Lee Judges, you definitely got drawn into that. Talking about should Arteta be questioned for his job because Arsenal should have got top 4 and they've failed. Well, why is that a failure? If the initial target is getting back into Europe, then why is not getting into top 4 a failure? Again, are we going to do this again? Are we going to do it again where we get into the position, to a great position at the start of the season? If it then tails off towards the end of the season, we're going to let other people's fans turn around and try and claim that this is a failure, or let us get drawn into that nonsense and calling what we're building a failure. Just don't let them have that joy. Just don't let them have that, because it's not a failure. Arsenal need to get top 4. If they get top 4, that's the target. If they get anything higher than 4th, it's a very, very good season. Because let's not forget, at the start of the season, were people genuinely saying Arsenal will get top 4? No, the majority of people were saying Arsenal will get 5th again, because they were saying that Tottenham were a stronger club, Liverpool were a stronger club, Man City were a stronger club, Chelsea were a stronger club. That's what they were saying. They were saying that potentially Manchester United, it's too early because Ten Hag, and they were just kind of fitting Arsenal in because Man United weren't quite there. Now, all of a sudden, they want to start turning around and saying, asking us if we think that if we don't challenge for the title, is it a failure? And this is what they're going to keep peddling, because it's Arsenal, because we make the most noise on the socials. We give them the most hits. We give them the most likes, the most retweets, the most comments. So they're going to start peddling that nonsense. But don't buy into it, all right? Because just remember, top 4 is the target. That's the target. And saying that top 4 is your target and is your goal is not a weakness. It's not a sign of failure if you don't challenge for the league because you've had a great start. So what? The season about the consistency of the season. This is not a cup run. It's not a game of conkers. You beat Liverpool, so you're second. You're the best team. You take over from Liverpool from now on. No, that's not how it works. It's consistency for 38 games, and if you can do it for 38 games, then we'll talk. So yeah. Next up, I'm going to quickly run over the Zurich game. We've got Zurich on Thursday. Look, let me just quickly check the times. We've got the Zurich game. Arsenal, Zurich. Fixtures. So we've got Arsenal versus Zurich. Let me know what kind of team you'll put out. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. I'll be watching that. You won't be catching me on the post-match reaction. I am actually away on a holiday. That's why I'm pre-recording this one live. Pre-recording this one, not live. I'm recording it live. Sorry. I'm pre-recording this one, not live, because I won't be there on Thursday. Arsenal, they've got to get the 3 points there. They've got to get a win. And I think they could do it in style as well. They should be able to win that at a pump. I don't see too many changes being made. I think Kieran Tierney will come in. Do I think Matt Turner will play? I don't think Matt Turner will play. He chose to play Aaron Ramsdale in the last game. No. Turner was injured, weren't he? So it'd be interesting to see whether Turner was back for that one. Because actually, I do think that he will play Turner. Interesting. If Turner's fit, I think he'll play Turner. Tierney will come in at left back as opposed to Tomiyasu. I think starting centre backs will be Holding and Saliba. I think right back will be Cedric. I think Cedric will play at right back. Central midfield, Lokonga and Xhaka. I think in front of them will be Vieira. No, I think Odegaard will play. I think Odegaard should play as well. I think this is a game where Odegaard should play. Nope. And then right mid will be Reiss. Left mid will be Martinelli. Up top will be, I'm going to say Jesus. Or maybe we might see an Eddie and Jesus starting again. Because Jesus does need a goal. And it's getting serious now. Like, he needs a goal. Just to get his own head around it. He needs a goal. So, yeah. I think Eddie and Jesus, not Martinelli. I think Eddie will start on the left, and I think Jesus will come up front, and that'll be our starting lineup against Zurich. Key player in that game. I think Martin Odegaard. Will play a key player. He seems to have a little dip in form, and it's not even a bad dip. Yeah, he seems to have a little tiny dip in form. Yeah, and then what he will then do is he will pick it up his form again, go on a good run, and I think this could be a start of a good run. So I think we're going to see Odegaard be the key man in this one. I think the score will be 4-0. 4-0, maybe 4-1. Are we away from home? No, we're at home. Oh, the score's going to be 4-0. Martin Odegaard's going to get 1. Eddie Nketiah is going to get 2. And no, it's going to be 5-0. Jesus is going to get 1 and Reiss Nelson's going to get 1. So Eddie with 2. Jesus with 1. Reiss with 1. And Odegaard with 1. 5-0. All right. That is all I have time for. Thank you for joining us today. Make sure you press that like and subscribe button. If you are new to the show, come on, let's go. Make sure you press that like and subscribe button. Go and follow our Twitter at @theArsenal_show. Go and hit us up in the comment section of any of these posts, and we will always reply. Smash that like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. If you are a regular, smash that like, hit that share button. You don't even have to share it. You just have to press the copy button. All right. Thank you for your support. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.